Trump almost broke the internet last weekend when he announced the 50-year mortgage. Yep, you got that right, 50 years. Now, the standard has been a 30-year mortgage since the 1950s. So is Trump's idea a genius game changer, or is this a death sentence that is going to keep you paying for what seems like almost a lifetime? So in this video, we'll get into what the 50-year mortgage looks like, what monthly mortgage payments are, and does this give you more buying power? And also the pros and cons of this idea and some real options if you are thinking about shopping for a property right now. Okay, let's get to it. So Trump made all the headlines this past week, and unfortunately, some of them were not very favorable. So from CNBC, it says Trump proposes 50-year mortgage, but some say homeowner savings would be minimal. And then from Fortune magazine, Trump's 50-year mortgage would save you about $119 a month while doubling the interest you pay over the long run. And lastly, here we've got from CNN, Kevin O'Leary on Trump's 50-year mortgage plan, you'll never own the home. So why is Trump and his administration floating this idea of a 50-year mortgage? Why come up with this idea? So it comes down to affordability. And right now we're in a affordability crisis. Hey, real quick, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Jade. I'm a local realtor here in San Diego, and I study the housing market every day so you can stay informed and make educated decisions. So if you have any questions about your specific situation and property, then my number is right here on the screen. Don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, let's get back to the video. The article from the National Association of Realtors from the NAR says first-time homebuyer share falls to a historic low of 21%, and the median age rises to 40 as far as how old you are when you first buy your house. So it goes on to say down below, the typical age of first-time buyers climbed to an all-time high of 40. Also, to put this into perspective, home prices have climbed around 50% in the last 6 years. So in December 2019, home prices were $274,000 for median home across the US, and now that has climbed to $415,000. So that is a difference of a 51% increase. Wages have only increased about 28 to 29%. There is a gap of 20% between home prices and how much wages have increased. And a mid-tier home in California, it would cost double the median household income to be able to afford and qualify for a house. So you have to earn double the median household income. And one other reason why Trump has started floating this idea of the 50-year mortgage is to increase demand. So spreading out a 50-year mortgage instead of a 30-year mortgage, that would decrease monthly mortgage payments. So this would help buyers afford to be able to purchase more home. And if there are more home sales, this would help builders, lenders, and the broader economy as a whole. So what would be the benefits? What would be the pros of having a 50-year mortgage? Well, I'm going to outline 4 pros for this program. So number 1 would be lower monthly payments. Obviously, if you stretch out the debt over 50 years as opposed to 30 years, you slice up your payments into smaller chunks. So that would make it easier to afford buying a house. Number 2 would be it would allow more first-time home buyers to get in on the market and start building their wealth and equity. Number 3, a benefit of the 50-year mortgage would be if you know that your income is going to increase over the long term, this could be a bridge, a starting point now instead of having to wait until you can afford a 30-year mortgage. So you can get into the home now and possibly refinance later. Number 4 benefit of a 50-year mortgage would be that there might increase more demand, and this would help sellers, and this would just help the housing economy and climate and get it moving. Now, if you are thinking about moving into a new place in the next 6 to 12 months, I've got a free home buyer's guide that has a couple really top tips that you don't want to miss. So the link is in the description below. So just click that. Now, quickly moving on to the cons to obtaining a 50-year mortgage, and starting off at number 1 is a massive lifetime of interest payments. By enrolling in a 50-year mortgage, almost doubling the amount of interest that you pay over the lifespan of the mortgage. Number 2 is very slow equity growth. It will take you a long time to gain equity in your home if you're paying it off over 50 years. You will pay off interest a lot more in the front loading it, and you won't be able to build your equity until much, much later. So we'll get into the numbers so you can actually see what that looks like, but it would just take a very long time to build equity. Number 3 is PMI, property mortgage insurance. And if you don't put 20% down, if you only put 10% down, it would take you a very long time to get to 20% equity. So you will be paying this insurance premium, which is a pretty hefty chunk for many years to come. Number 4 is retirement overlap. You might retire and stop working before you pay off your mortgage. Many buyers might be carrying their mortgage into their 60s and 70s. So this could be an issue. And the biggest con for this, number 5, is this 50-year mortgage, while it will possibly create more demand and allow buyers into the market, it doesn't address this one critical issue, which is supply. It doesn't create more houses. So we're going to look at what the actual numbers are if you are thinking about using a 50-year mortgage and how that compares to a 30-year mortgage. So using calculator.net, while the median home price across the US is $415,000, so we could put in $400,000, but here in San Diego, median home price for an attached single-family home is $800,000. So let's put in $800,000 for the home price. Down payment 10%. Loan term, let's start off with 30. And right now the mortgage interest rate is 6.25%. And so let's just calculate that. That comes out to $4,433 as a monthly payment. Over the life of the loan, if you just scroll down a little bit here, house price is $800,000, loan amount would be $720,000, and total payment over the entire life of the loan for 30 years would be close to $1.6 million. But total interest that you are paying is $875,000. So if we just kind of remember that really quickly. Now, if we change it to 50 years, calculate that out. And so the monthly payments would be $3,923. So the monthly payments go down by $509. A decent savings, so $500 a month. So that would be $6,000 that you save for the year. But if you scroll down and look at the payments, so total payment, so for an $800,000 home in total after 50 years, you would be paying $2.354 million, and your total interest over the life of 50 years is 1.6. Now, if you remember, over 30 years, it was around $800,000. So for $500 less a month, you are paying double the amount of interest. And that is given that the interest rate stays the same. But if you look down here, latest mortgage rates, the longer the term period, the higher the interest rate. So right now, a 10-year mortgage is 5.26, and a 15-year mortgage is 5.398. And for 30 years, it is more. The mortgage interest rate is higher. So if it was a 50-year mortgage, I talked to a mortgage lender and he said we could estimate about 0.5% more. So if we tack on 0.5%, the interest rate would be 6.75. The monthly payment would be $4,194,000. Comparing that to a 30-year fixed rate mortgage at a slightly lower mortgage rate, the savings would be $239. So your payments would be $240 less, but your interest is double. And actually, oh, here, look, it's more than double. It goes up to close to $1.8 million in interest as opposed to $800,000 in interest when it's a 30-year mortgage. So that's just something to think about if you are kind of contemplating a 50-year mortgage. It's not in effect right now. The White House is working on it, but it's not ready. It would still have to go through, get approval, and lenders would have to offer it. So that isn't the case quite yet. And now moving on to some quick tips. If you still are thinking about purchasing a home and you want to make your monthly mortgage payments as low as you can, there are 3 different options besides the 50-year mortgage that might be coming up in the near future. 3 other options would be, number 1 is a temporary buy down. It's called a 2-1 buy down. You buy down the mortgage rate 2 points in the first year and 1 point in the second year. So who pays for this? You might be able to get the seller to pay for this, especially in the slow moving market, or you could also do that yourself and buy down the rate so that the monthly mortgage payments are a little bit lower to start with. Number 2, another alternative is permanently buying down the points. This lowers the rate for the entire life of the loan. This is really good if you think you will stay in this home for a very long time. And this also reduces the total amount of interest over the life of the loan. And number 3 is, in this market, if a house or property has been sitting on the market for a while, you might be able to negotiate some seller concessions, such as getting the seller to reduce your closing costs or giving you a credit. And last but not least, one big thing about this 50-year mortgage that maybe some people aren't talking about is inventory. Creating a 50-year mortgage will help buyers and probably will help increase demand, but it doesn't address the issue of inventory. The US has not built enough homes to match with population growth. And in San Diego, permitting is slow and there is limited land. So inventory is an issue here. So many economists say the real fix is increasing less regulation, faster approval process, and that's really going to fix affordability and get the market moving. Unfortunately, a 50-year mortgage isn't really going to help that. So what do you think? Put it down in the comments if you think this 50-year mortgage is a good idea. Do you think anyone's going to take it up? And do you feel that housing affordability is at an all-time low? And if you have any questions about your specific situation or neighborhood, don't hesitate to reach out. My number is right here on the screen. And if you found any value in this video, please hit the like button, consider subscribing, and also hitting the notification bell so you are notified the next time a new video comes out. And if you like this video, please check out this one.